Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1841. 1841. I'm Mike Matthews, and this show is called
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I am singing to you from somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Podcastro Valley. I want to tell you about the things that I do on my Monday. And you would be surprised if you knew that I didn't do this show that often on Mondays now.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
So, it is a complete, what do you call it? Miracle. Or something.
Mike's
Anyway.
Daily
Cafe anyway.
Podcast.
I just wanted to say.
Yeah!
This is going to be a show where I am going to talk about Pandora. Because here we are in a world where when I grew up, if you wanted to hear music, if you didn't own the record or the CD or the tape, you had to turn on the radio and maybe you would hear the song you wanted to hear. And occasionally you would get, what do you call it? Oh yeah, a ton of commercials. And it sucked because you'd want to hear that song you were thinking of. And the dang thing wouldn't play. Well, nowadays, I guess I used to hate Pandora. I think, what was it? Oh, yeah, I met a girl on OkCupid that was all about Pandora. Only her Pandora really sucked. It had all this Christian pop music on it. And you may know my opinion about Christian pop music from a previous podcast that I did with Dawn and Giselle, where I kind of discussed this issue that I have with Christian pop music. At any rate, what ended up happening was we broke up, and I hated Pandora after her. She left Pandora was forever linked to her. So,
and here's today's podcast picture.
It appears this podcast picture was taken recently. Yes. Oh. This is so my cell phone camera is awful. I am very much going to get rid of this cell phone very soon. It's a Samsung. I think it's a model they discontinued back in 1802. And this picture, though, is of a beautiful horse. And here we are all talking about what the Kentucky Derby and what happened on that. And there was some kind of craziness. I don't care. Basil does, though, because he loves horses. In fact, we were very close to this horse that you see in this podcast picture, and all of a sudden it started walking right towards us, and Basil was backing away and like, let's get out of here. And so it's a beautiful white horse. I think its name is Lucky, if I'm not mistaken. And so you can see that picture now at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Lucky is a former racehorse himself. Or herself, I can't tell. Well, I mean, I can't tell from the picture. I forget when I saw Lucky. I know some of the things that let you know if a horse is male or not. It leaves a lasting impression, I know. But this is not the case, I guess. Or maybe it's a female. At any rate, Lucky, great horse, didn't kill my dog. And I think Lucky. So you can see that picture at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Of Lucky in this world of horses and make-believe. I mean, there is a little bit of make-believe going on here at Mike's Daily Podcast, I must admit. But what I did want to say about Pandora is, so you need, in this world where you need to hear music, I am a strong proponent of music. With all the craziness that goes on in this world, we need a little music to cheer us up. And now, as there are so many podcasts that you can listen to, there are so many musicians that you can listen to, that you can find through SoundCloud, Mixcloud, what's the Reverb Nation, what's that other one? They're all my friends, Bandcamp. So there's all Spotify and all of these places you can listen to music, and you can support people that aren't necessarily the same ones that we all know. Drake, Jay-Z, Childish Gambino. I don't know. They've got talent. I know. They're talented. Some of their stuff is great. Perhaps you're a huge fan. But it seems like, okay, Taylor Swift's got a new song with the guy from, what's that group? Panic at the Disco. Panic! Exclamation point. At the Disco. And so they got this song. You're going to hear that song 8 billion times during the summer. Why not give another band that you don't hear on your typical radio that you can pick up through your antenna on your car, and listen to a band that's struggling, that needs some help, that needs some, exposure. I guess if I was a cool podcaster, I would be able to, I would play people's music that we're trying to get a little exposure. But every time I do that, I get dinged by YouTube. And I got sick of it. So I decided to go back to what this podcast is about. And it's all about me, I think. Or, I don't know, maybe it... And I thought of a Taylor Swift song that's called Me. And what's interesting about that latest Taylor Swift song is that she also has a song called Mean, M-E-A-N. And, can you get confused by this? The same title, practically? Even though one's kind of country and the other is definitely not? I don't know. Now this podcast has gone into a topic that probably doesn't matter, whatever, to you. But that's okay. Pandora. So why am I saying Pandora is so awesome? Because I was listening to it just now, and I put it on Quick Mix. And honestly, for a while I wasn't listening to Pandora, not only because of the ex-girlfriend, but because I just could not get it to work right. And for some reason, by a miracle, I was able to make it work. And it did this amazing thing. It played Ben Harper. Ben Harper was one of these kind of guys. When he first came out, some people thought he was, as we go outside a cafe anyway, we were bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. What's his name? John, what's his face? Clone. Mayer. John Mayer clone. Some people thought. And then he came out with this political album called Both Sides of the Gun. And he came out with it right about the time that everybody became super warmonger people. Let's bomb Iraq. Wait a minute. Wait, okay, I understand 9/11, we need to bomb the Afghanistan because that's where now I forgot where everybody, Taliban, the Osama bin Laden, all that. But then jump over and bomb Iraq. Let's do it. And everybody was warmongering, and then the Dixie Chicks got blamed for something that really wasn't that big of a deal. And then, yes, I said that really wasn't that big of a deal. Honestly, after all the crap they said about Obama, and you think that still was a big deal with the Dixie Chicks? At any rate, so speaking of which, I go to see... So Ben Harper had a political album where he talked about how there's just too much war going on, too much fighting. And it was around the same time as the band Green Day. So I go to see the Dixie Chicks in concert, and this was after all the stuff happened where they got banned from country radio. And I think Pete Yorn opened for them. It was a great show. And standing behind me was Laura Dern, and she was married to Ben Harper at the time. And I had just seen Ben Harper in concert at the Santa Barbara Bowl. And he wasn't there at the time. I mean, he wasn't there when I first turned around, but when I turned around later, there was Ben Harper standing right there. And I remember my ex-wife was all into Ben Harper, too. And we were all big fans of Ben Harper, and they showed a commercial before the Dixie Chicks concert. If you've never seen the Shut Up and Sing... Is it Shut Up and Sing? I think that's what it is. Was that the... Yeah. The Dixie Chicks, from the Dixie Chicks album. Oh, heck, I got all my Dixie Chicks right here. What am I doing? Oh, but it's not alphabetized. Oh, this is terrible. I'll have to go back and alphabetize this later. Yeah, there was Fly. There was Wide Open Spaces. And then they did a live album. And then the Taking the Long Way, wasn't it? At any rate, sorry, this show has gone off the rails. So there's Laura Dern cheering on the Dixie Chicks. There's Ben Harper behind me. I find out later that Ben Harper performed on that Dixie Chicks album, Taking the Long Way, which featured I Don't Want to Play Nice, something like that. At any rate, what happened was we had Ben Harper. Ben Harper was awesome. But the thing is, his recent music is just so awful. It's just so mellow, and he smoked way too much pot. And oh my God, the Contact High, going to see him at the Santa Barbara Bowl, by the way. But yeah, just all that. Home. Oh, Home was another great Dixie Chicks album. Home. Yeah, Ben Harper. So anyway, the wonderful Cafe Anyway, Pandora, is playing Ben Harper, and it segued into another live song, because that Ben Harper song it was playing was live. It segued into a Glenn Phillips song, Glenn Phillips of Toad the Wet Sprocket, also connected to Santa Barbara in that he grew up there. And I used to date long ago. One of the very first girlfriends I had actually knew Glenn Phillips, and I believe she went to prom with him, if that's how the story goes. But the fact is, anybody who did radio in Santa Barbara got to meet Glenn Phillips at one point, before or after Toad the Wet Sprocket got big, with that "All I Want Is to Feel This Way, Be This Close, Feel This Way." And then it segued into one of my favorite songs by Michael Penn, who also performed in Santa Barbara in the early 90s at a magnificent show that I didn't get to go to, but I was like, oh, Michael Penn. Michael Penn is the brother of Sean Penn, and he had some cool stuff. Ended up marrying Amy Mann of Till Tuesday. All of this to say that there is so much music to listen to in this world. And if you're having a stressful life, and if you don't know like what it is that will calm you down, get some music. And don't get aggressive music that cheapens women music. Don't listen to that kind of crap. Listen to some stuff that stirs your soul, inspires you. And I would play you some right now, but like I said, stupid YouTube would ding me. Hey, look, speaking of dings, let's say hi to some wonderful people here at Cafe Anyway that are outside of the Cafe Anyway. Hello, Michael Myers, it's Madame Rootabega, and I love the music too. Ooh. And this is Valentino, the parking attendant. And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? We're going to start a band. I think you guys should. It's going to be good. Bison, what are you going to play? I want to play the nose. I don't know that instrument, the nose. It's a great instrument. Do you know that? Excellent. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this show. If you didn't, my name is Joe Rogan. But you can tell me what you thought. You can, what do you call it? Call me. 336MM Daily. That's 336MM Daily. Or you can email me, MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. Either way, it'd be great to hear from you. Because, doggone it, you're special. And people like you. I don't know. Maybe they don't like you. Maybe they love you. Maybe this show should have ended 5 minutes ago. I don't know. But let's end it right now. And MikesDailyPodcast.com, Ariel's going to tell you more right now.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!